Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eaters got me questioning what a remake even means these days. You've got a stone cold classic here, rebuilt from the ground up with Snake's bare chest glistening in a shiny new engine as he crawls through the jungle. On paper, it's all here. Every ingredient from the 2004 blockbuster is now wrapped up in a faithful package with all the bells and whistles to boot. But here's the thing, did Konami actually take enough risks here? And the ones they did take, did they even land? Well, put the kettle on, grab a cuppa, and let's slip into full stealth mode for today's review. Now, you either love these games and reckon the sun shines out of Snake's arsehole, or you hate them and think they're a load of old codswallop. Me, I sit somewhere in the middle. The gameplay is absorbing, yes, the stealth mechanics, the sneaky missions, all that tension of creeping about like you're sneaking in from a night out to not wake the missus. It is proper tense and still holds up. But then you hit the story, and I personally find it a load of old convoluted circus crap. Characters that feel ripped out of a weird dream, a script that wouldn't look out of place in a dodgy sitcom. Where you land here is purely subjective, and I'm not here to slag off a classic just because the plot leaves me scratching my head. Thankfully in Delta you can skip the scenes and even those dreaded codec chats if you'd rather just get on with the sneaking. But here is my ultimate gripe with Delta, that word remake. I get that it's faithful to the original, but that's also what a remaster does, ain't it? I mean, a proper remake should flex its muscles, shake things up, and still stay true to the spirit. Take the loading screens. Yeah, they're instant now, but they still break immersion. Why not stitch all those old map chunks together into one seamless world? Throw in a few new areas, make it feel open rather than stuck on rails. As it stands, it still feels dated. Then there's the camera shift. I actually prefer the new over-the-shoulder view. It makes sense for modern consoles, but the level design hasn't been built for it. Tight corridors and claustrophobic layouts mean that Snake is forever snagging on walls. The camera is losing itself in no man's land, or there's me trying to rotate him like he's the bloody Titanic instead of an SAS hard nut. Even crossing a rickety bridge felt overly twitchy, and don't get me started on the minefield section where the blast radius seemed twice what it was on screen, which in the end felt like some comedy sketch. This is where a remake should step in then, update those bits to modern standards, not just polish the old ones. Instead, Delta plays it safe, and that line between remake and remaster ends up blurred. Look at the Oblivion remaster with its flashy Unreal facelift. It was literally the same identical game brought into modern times, showing its dated gameplay but pleasing the retinas. By comparison, Delta just proves how messy that distinction has become, because other than some small gameplay tweaks here and there, it is, in essence, the original with a huge graphical upgrade. And before you all pile in, yeah, I know there's more here than a lick of paint. The cover system from Metal Gear 5 has been dropped in to suit that new camera, and fair play, it does work. You can muck about more in first person too, squaring up to Russian guards before clobbering round the head with a fresh set of animations. But past that, I start struggling to see what's actually new outside of those lush visuals. If you're not quite following me, just look at the Resident Evil 2 remake. That one kept the soul, it kept the style, it kept the characters, but it gave us a completely modern way to experience a classic. In that game, for example, what was once a cutscene at a gas station actually turns into a playable area at the very start of your journey. That is what I was hoping for here. So let's get into the actual gameplay then. Like any Metal Gear, you've got to suspend disbelief a bit if you want the full ride. That's what she said. Snake's camo system is back, letting him swap outfits on the fly like he's got a wardrobe stuffed down his trousers. Walk across some brown leaves, better slap on the brown camo or your score will plummet. Sneaking through a concrete base, quick change into something grey before you stick out like a sore bollock. And yeah, it really does matter. You can be lying there with a 95% camo rating and some guard is practically sniffing your arsehole after you've had a vindaloo, and he still won't clock you. It's ridiculous, but it works, and honestly, half the fun is seeing just how blind these blokes can be. Next up is the usual sneaky business. Get up close to a guard, smack him about, then hoisting back up and down to shake a ration or ammo out of his pockets like he's a dodgy fruit machine. If you're spotted, the guards shift into different alert phases, swarming the map. It does get a bit claustrophobic on these chopped up levels, but it does add some proper tension. Where it stumbles is where you ditch the stealth and go full Rambo. Grab an AK, unload, and suddenly the guards are lemmings, charging straight into the meat grinder one after another. You'd think after 5 blokes get dropped in the same corridor, number 6 might stop for a cuppa before marching in. Passable in 2004, sure, but in 2025 it feels like the AI is still on dial-up. To really hammer home this point was this little mutt here. I honestly don't remember this dog last time out. I thought it was some kind of Easter egg, so I went to pet it. I got right close to the bugger and he did the square root of sod all. I was literally milking his teats and he was oblivious to me, but the second I went into his cone of vision, he started to attack me. The cutscenes have always been the perfect window into Kojima's mad little brain, and Delta's no different. 1 minute soldiers are securing an area with military precision, the next you've got some bloke meowing like an emo cat girl. It's daft, but it is entertaining, dumb fun in its purest form. What's interesting though is when you compare it to Death Stranding 2, there Kojima's pacing is bang on. Scenes flow, never drag, and always push the story forward. Here in Delta though, it's the same as it ever was. Long-winded sequences that outstay their welcome, or codec chats popping up just when all you want to do is save the poxy game. It screams at you 2004, and while veterans will lap it up for nostalgia, a 16-year-old picking this up today will probably sit there wondering what everyone's been banging on about all these years. Now what I can't knock though are the remade graphics. Yes, they're stunning, and they add real depth to a jungle that was already dripping with atmosphere. I'm running this on a 5090, so it looks smooth as butter, but I did clock one issue. Flickering assets that look like some kid was spitting on my screen. Might be an Nvidia hiccup, and no doubt it will get patched up, but I thought it was worth calling out. What really shines though is the detail. Mud squelches and clings to Snake's skin as you crawl about. His body picks up scars and bruises as the fights stack up, and the lighting work, it is spot on. Roaming through the jungle, the light cuts down through the leaves above. Shadows will shift across you with every step. The walls, the trees, the foliage, all built from high detail models that make the place feel alive. It's not the single best looking game you'll ever play, but it's definitely an eye-opener if playing on PC fully maxed out, and it gives that whole experience a proper fresh coat of paint. The sound design holds up well too. I can't say for certain if it's lifted straight from the original or fully redone, but either way it feels polished for modern kit. Gunfire cracks through the jungle, echoes bounce around, and the distant shouts of Russian soldiers adds a proper panic to the mix. Of course, that panic dies the second they kamikaze straight into your firing line like it's a conga at a wedding. Voice work's solid enough though, but that script, it drags it down. Half the one-liners are so cringe, I was hoping no one outside the room could hear me playing it. Snake, bless him, spends half the time asking questions that feel like Cold War trivia at a pub quiz. I'd have loved to have seen Konami give that side of a tune-up for modern ears, but no, it's the same old shit. Musically though, it's still pure Metal Gear. The battle themes hit hard and the stealth tracks simmer away like background chill music in a club lounge, and it all ties the package together nicely. For the most part, the audio still does the job, even if the script makes you wince. This review then came a couple of days late, mainly because I was wrestling with where to land on it. There are moments where Metal Gear Delta feels like a proper 9 out of 10. Gorgeous visuals, slick stealth, a soundtrack that fires on all cylinders. You think, hell yeah, Metal Gear is truly back. But then the cracks show, enemy AI thick as mints, cutscenes dragging on, and all the old issues from 2004 still hanging around like a dirty fart. That's what grates me here. They didn't take enough risks. Beyond shinier graphics and a tweaked control scheme, it's largely the same game. So for me, a 7, it feels fair. Veterans, you're going to absolutely love reliving your childhood, soaking in that authentic Metal Gear feel. But for newcomers, the dated map design, the awkward camera, the safe approach will make you wonder why Konami didn't push harder. Delta then ends up blurring that line between remake and remaster, a term that we hear far too often in the industry, and it leaves me asking a much bigger question: are all these remakes actually good for gaming? But that one is for another video. Until next time, my lovelies, love to you all, Reggie